Hey everyone, and welcome back to the last episode of Starbirds, at least for now. I will upload more episodes once the devs added new sectors. We do know there will be at least a Sector 8, but hopefully even more beyond that. Today we are going to play Sector 7 and collect the remaining 3 achievements out of 34. We have to complete Sector 7 and reach a score of 55, as usual, without upgrading any buildings, and that will give us the last 2 achievements. Alright, let's dive in. Here we are in the Sector 7. It looks like we only have one huge asteroid, and we don't have any quests. So let's jump on the asteroid and see what we got. So it looks like we have only 3 spots where we can build our launch pad. And on this asteroid we do have elevation, so I guess there will be kind of slopes we can build to continue on higher levels. And I think the goal is to reach the highest point eventually. But since we don't have many options, let's start right in the middle. And that gives us our first quest to build a module as usual. Okay, let's start with the iron one, and we do have the option to research the plateau ramp. Let's do this one, because I saw that we have here raw carbon, which is pretty convenient. And we also can build a second launch pad over here. Hook that up. That makes the production line for threads a little bit easier. We need, in either case, feather. So we do know feather are getting produced in a habitat. And this one needs 2 power. And I hope we do have sun on this side. Of course we don't. Ah, well, we do. Can I squeeze in 2? Yes, we can. Alright, let's do that for now. We also could build a nuclear reactor, but for now that's fine. So we're producing feathers. So for the light alloy we need feather and strong alloy. And strong alloy we can create with carbon and iron in a crucible. So we do need a reactor anyway. Let's plug that in here so we generate some power. And then we need a crucible. Okay, so we are producing strong alloy with carbon and iron. We send it over to the chem lab and combine that with feather, and that gives us light alloy. And we need 10 of those for the first part to research our ramp, and then the next part will be the elastoscope, where we need plastic. Alright, so we are producing hydrocarbon over here from methane and carbon. Convert that to plastic. Then the plastic goes into a stuff factory or stuff maker in a stuff factory. And we have the threads that goes also in here, and that should give us this springy thing. Okay, the research is completed for our ramp. We got a new quest from our captain. Let's see what he wants. He wants 10 laser and chip. We do know how to make laser, but chip is new. We need circuit boards and conductor, and combine that in a new factory, electronics factory. So we can research the electronic factory, and it needs those 2 components in order to get researched. We can also build a ramp now. Let's see how that works.
That's pretty cool. I actually really like this idea.
While I was looking for silicon, I built a new ramp to the next floor, and that unlocked this one over here. It's a shroom, and apparently it generates power. So we get 4 power out of this mushroom thingy. So we do have energy up here as well. Then let's build 2 extractors, a component lab, hook that up, and add the power from our mushroom thingy. Place a launch pad, and that should be it for the circuit boards. The conductor, we do need plastic and glass. We had plastic down there. Oh, we still have. So we do have plastic over here. And we need glass. Glass is just quartz in a refiner, and I found quartz over here. So the easiest thing we can do is get that pipe over here, place an extractor on quartz, add a refiner, and we need also a component lab. Place that here, hook that up. We do have uranium, that's good. Let's place a reactor. How many power do we need? 3. Okay. Add another launch pad and place that in here. So that should be... it looks wrong, we get scrap. Why do we get scrap? Oh, I'm sending the springy thing. That's not what we need. We need plastic. Okay, so that should be better now. Okay, the electronics factory is completed. Let's see, it costs 500 credits, so that's rather expensive. We do have now enough credits, so let's place one of those factories over here. It needs 6 power, and we need the conductor. Let's shove that in here. Let's put the output over there. And let's grab the circuit boards and bring that down here. So we need some more power. Let's just add another reactor, and we're out of money again. Alright, with enough power we should now generate the circuit boards. The chip actually. We need 10, and the next step will be creating some laser. That is done in a optics factory with uranium and glass. So we do have both ingredients over here. Let's see. Well, my layout is not ideal. Maybe we need to do some rerouting. So the laser production is up and running. I rerouted the power cable and those pipelines a little bit, so we do have access to this uranium patch and this quartz patch. Quartz gets turned into glass over here. We do have some solar panels over here to power up this optical factory, and that produces laser. With that we should be able to get to the next step. where we have access to the strangelet detector. The research is completed, and we are now tasked to place it at the highest point, and we already unlocked the highest point. It is over here. So I think it goes into this crater. Let's see, special building is over here. And yeah, it goes in here. And once we have enough power, we should get the victory. Alright, Sector 7 completed. It looks like that we found many strangelets out in the universe. So I guess there will definitely be some more updates with more levels. But for now we can complete Sector 7. So we need some more stars, 55 in total. Let's stay here and continue. So as always, let's focus first on the modules. So it looks like we got rid of the strong alloy production, so I rebuilt it again. We need carbon and iron in a crucible. So I rerouted some pipes over here. So we can produce now alloy. That is done. Let's see how far we are. How many are left? Let's see how many modules are left. Looks like there are 8 more. Alright, let's continue. We can do the light alloy. So let's get rid of that for a second. Place a chem lab. Hook that up. And get rid of you. That should give us light alloy, hopefully. Yep, looks good. So, producing ceramic was not as easy as I thought it is, because we only have one patch of carbon down here. So I routed the pipe all around here, bring it up here, because here is silicon, and we need to combine those two ingredients in one crucible, and then I pipe it down again down here. So we get some ceramic, but yeah, a lot of routing necessary. So the next module will be, we can do the springs again. We built them before. Let's head down here. So we need plastic and we need some threads. Combine that in a stuff factory. And I need power. Let's place the stuff factory somewhere over here. Connect the power. We need 3 more. Well, let's unplug this one for now. Okay, that should be the springs. The springs are completed. Let's see what we can do next. Let's go back to this one. We had those before. So I need to bring the plastic up to here again. Let's get rid of you. And what else do we need? The chip production was circuit boards. Alright, the engine room is done as well. Let's continue. We need sunglasses. That is done with glass and ash. Okay, let's do that one. Where do we produce glass? We do have glass over here. I think I have a glass production somewhere else. Alright, the sunglass production is up and running. I hooked up the power from those solar panels, creating ash from uranium over here, and I piped down the quartz onto here to convert to glass. And in this optics factory we create sunglasses. Completed. I believe these are the last two. Yes, they are. So we need mirror. Mirror is glass and light alloy. And light alloy was strong alloy and feather. Let's see. I got rid of the production. We have strong alloy down here, so we don't need the plastic at the moment. Let's get rid of you. Bring that up. So we have strong alloy combined with feather in a chem lab. Let's get rid of you. So that should give us light alloy. We need to bring that up over here somewhere. Combine that with glass. Actually, we can just plug that in here, and that should give us mirrors. Alright, and now to the final module, which needs the mesh covers. That is feather and threads. So we can produce that over here. Let's take the power. Let's clean up over here a little bit. Add a stuff factory, a refiner. Up over here, plug that in, and connect this one, hook that up with power, and that should give us our insulated mesh covers. Alright, that's it with the modules. Let's double check. It looks like we do have 25 modules built. Our score we need to met is 55, I believe. Yes. So that means we need 30 stars from resources. So now we do have a huge mess on this little asteroid. So I will clean up a little bit and I will be back in a minute once I have reorganized the whole mess over here. So I was thinking, we still have to say mess, but I counted all our launch pads and we only have 7. My usual strategy is to send basic resources, 4 of them, that gives us usually 2 stars. But since we have only 7 launch pads, we have to be careful about what items do. We have to be careful about what items we will send to the space station, because items with a more complex production line gives us more stars per second. So ideally we produce complex, so that means we can send multiple items with the same launchpad and still get the 3 stars. I'm thinking about the... Yeah, well, let's take this as an example. We are sending the insulation mesh covers to the station down here, and we only have 1 production line, and that gives us already 2 stars. And it's hooked up with this one, so here we could send even more items. The thing is, we cannot... Let's see, what else do we have? Well, I think I will start on the top layer and try to figure out which items makes the most sense to send with this single launch pad over here. And then we will work our way down. Alright, let's have a look what I've been up to. We are currently at 53 stars. I give a quick tour from the top to the bottom of our little asteroid. So on the top I built 2 reactors, fully powered. I route the cables down here. On this launch pad I'm sending acid, some ceramic, some circuit boards and a little bit glass. I do have 2 production lines for the circuit boards. That's just enough to give us 3 stars. I built 1 ceramic pipeline. That gives us 2 stars. And then I just fill in some acid and some glass just to get 1 star, and so that this launchpad is always busy. So that's this setup over here. Then I built another circuit board down here, which gets piped to the lower level, where create our chips. Over here it is pretty packed, so let's start with this launchpad over here. I produce mainly sunglasses. That is my main product, which gives us 2 stars. And in order to get 2 stars, we have to send them regularly. I couldn't really fit in a second production line, so that's why I sending also water and ash from down here. So we are sending regularly enough items that the spaceship gets sent to the space station. With water and ash we get another additional star each. Here is some power production for this factory over here, and on this side we have the chips, plastic and some more ash. I have a second uranium extractor which converts into ash, so with those 2 ash we get 2 stars. Over here I do have some plastic production. One line over here, the second one over here. This one I'll send directly to the space station. With only this production line we get 2 stars. And a third one is over here. So we do have 3 plastic productions. 1 plastic production I need for this conduct factory over here, which gets converted together with the circuit boards into chips, which gets sent down here. And with only 1 single chip production we get 3 stars. And over here I have a second conduct factory, which I send also directly to this launch pad. That gives another 3 stars with only 1 single production line. I also sent some quartz just to get 1 more star over here. So I just plugged in 1 here. That's it on this second level. And on the lowest level we have quite a few things happening. I sent 1 carbon to get 1 star for carbon. I do have a habitat over here. I convert that into fabrics or into threads. That gives us 2 stars with only those 2 buildings. I added a crater over here so that I have 2 habitats in order to produce more feathers. 1 habitat and splitting the feathers into threads and directly bring it into the stuff factory was not enough to produce or to get enough feathers for the full production needs. So with those 2 habitats and this stuff factory I get 3 stars. Let's see, over here, that's from the very beginning. We sent some iron. That's unnecessary to have that many because yeah, I only have 1 star, so I need to send at least 6 or 7 extractors to get 3 stars. So we could have only 1, that would be still enough. But I left it as it is. Down here is some power production, and we don't use the strong alloy. I could send that as well to the station, but since we only need 3 more, I decided to send some methane and some uranium, which I have currently 0 stars. So if I plug those 2 in, speed that up, that should give us 55 stars without upgrading any buildings. So we're receiving methane and uranium. And ka-ching! We got the 2 achievements. So that means we have 100% completed Starbirds with all 34 achievements without upgrading any building. So if we have one final look at this asteroid, it is pretty covered with all the pipelines and production lines, and we still have room for improvement. So 55 is definitely by far not the maximum we can build on this asteroid, but it will do for now. So this means we come to an end of this playthrough, at least for the moment, until we get a new update, and then I will be back with a new episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode and also the entire playthrough through all the 7 sectors in Starbirds. I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And with that said, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.